migration are not the same things that are causing ecotone migrations. All right, so I just want to show you some animal pictures to end out the talk. So this is alpaca in lowlands, and we often think about these things as just kind of ambling along, but all of these things play really important roles. And if we think we don't know much about the basic climate and plant climate interactions from the Puna out into the lowlands, we definitely know very little even about the basic distributions. So this is up where you're going to be working. You can see some Truschia. You can see a palm, you can see a fern called Blechnum there. And then this is an Andean bear. We put a camera out, and about a half hour later, the bear is staring at it. And we had a large trapping grid. And what we're finding is a lot of distributional changes. So this is something that some of you, if you worked in lowland tropics, may know. This is an animal called a tyra. It's a mustelid. But check out the temperature here. So this is right up at tree line where you guys are going to be working, something that was thought to be a lowland animal, moving around and being part of the carnivore community in the boundary between Puna and forest. We have bush dogs, all sorts of other animals that are up at these high elevations. And one of the things that we see in this is that these trophic interactions become very important. And I won't show you the data, but if you look at seed predation along the gradient, it turns out that there's a incredible peak of seed predation at middle elevations, and that has to do with the release by the absence of certain seed predators and then the release of others due to shifts in the carnivore community. One of the big ones is that ants drop out at about 1,700 meters. And if you look at the functional trait distribution of plants, you get a rise of small seeded species after that. And where the ants drop out, the seed predation on small seeds basically goes away. So there's all sorts of neat interactions along the gradient, and these biotic interactions we're just figuring out. The biotic interactions in the Puna are, I think it's safe to say, just unknown. All right, I'm going to show you some animal on animal violence to end the show. Hopefully you guys are seeing a video. This is taking at mid-elevation, and what you can see is this is a study on birds and what's controlling bird distributions. Lots of things love to eat bird eggs. So this is a curl-crested aracari eating dove eggs. When we look at middle elevations, here's nesting success and elevation. You can see there's almost this step change at middle elevations. And what happens in this case is that a lot of predators drop out, and in particular, snakes really drop out at this elevation. I mean, there's some snakes above this elevation, but not many. And snakes are the major predator of bird nests, and it fundamentally changes the mortality schedule of these birds. And it also then reflects back into life history and community composition. Here's another one just to drive home the snakiness. It's really interesting. I don't know how many of you are animal ecologists, but what snakes do is they go and they find nests, and then they'll mark them in their brain, and then they'll come back after the nestlings hatch and after they've grown up, and then grab them and get a big meal from them. So they really are tending these things. It's pretty spectacular how smart they are. But those things go away, and the life histories of the organisms change. The same thing happens with seeds and seed predation. And then just this last one to show who all...
This ground dove bravely stays by her nest and attempts to distract predators by wing flashing. Yet hungry, this group of saddleback tamarins find her eggs too tempting, and only after feasting on the eggs do they go for the mother.
I think that it was actually someone who didn't have a British accent feigning one, but you could see the different things that are in there eating bird eggs. So defaunation becomes important. We think about all of the areas that are in the tropics, and when we're thinking about conserving these areas, can we have these same forests and ecosystems functioning with a much reduced subset of organisms? And also, particularly in the areas where you are working, if you would be doing this field project, even 15,000 years ago, all of these guys would be in your landscape. And today, it's a much reduced area of these guys. These guys won't get up as high as you guys are studying. So all of this together, when we think about the biology, it's just a wonderful area for understanding ecosystems, plant distribution, all the kinds of questions we're interested in, but also an area where if we want to keep these landscapes together, we need to really think about how we apply our results to things like management. And just end with the last one. You guys are all true believers, but sometimes we all slip into a little bit of despair about things. But if we want, if we think about what we're going to have in the future and what's happening with both human pressures and others, we're not going over a cliff at 2100. We're going through a bottleneck, and anything we do to make that bottleneck wider leaves us with a better world in the future. So I think I'll stop with that one and give you Sunrise from Tres Cruces coming up over the Amazon basin, and take any questions that you all might have.